Hi, Julie here, and today I'm going to show you how to make this little tiny paper bead Christmas tree. And here's the actual Christmas tree, if you can see it in the camera here. Basically, it has an angel at the top. It is made with lots and lots of different shades of green beads, and it has little brown half-inch beads on the inside for the trunk. The base is made with coiled, rolled up construction paper, and the inside trunk here, or the tree stand, is made with cardstock. And if you look at the bottom of it, it's it's paper that's been rolled up into tubes, flattened, and then coiled. And this angel is actually made. The wings on this angel were actually made with cigarette wrappers, and I'll show you how to do that. And so what this pattern comes with the project sheet with all the instructions and the materials you're going to need. And it's kind of long. It's got like 3 sets of instructions here. And let's get started. Okay, for the next part of the tree, you're going to make the treetop angel. And this is what it looks like. It basically has a little head and some wings that are actually wrapped around a bead. And then you have the skirt. And this is actually what you're going to need. You're going to need either white copy paper, or I used gray marble paper. It's basically copy paper, but it's a gray marble pattern. You can pretty much use whatever you want for your angel's body, and I use this for both the skirt, the head, and for the body underneath the wings. Okay, what you're also going to need is white glue, and you're going to need a pencil, and you're going to need a 5/32 paper bead roller. And that's important because you want it to fit on your skewer. And after it's glazed, the glaze inside the bead will take up some of the space, so you really want it to fit on your 1/8" skewer. And because once you glaze it, the hole will be a little bit smaller than the 5/32. Okay, and what I made these wings out of, you're not going to believe. This is a silver liner from inside of a pack of cigarettes. No, I don't smoke, but somebody in my family does. So I told him as long as he continues smoking, I want the liners for inside of his packs of cigarettes. And it comes from the hard box, and this is the liner. And the way I do this is I go ahead and I take off the plastic and I open it up, because I want it to be as pristine as possible. So I open up the box, and I've never had to use a sharp object to open it up. I'm just careful with it. And I've done a lot of these. I made a whole bunch of beads with this type of silver liner as well. And then you want to pop that open. Just be careful, you don't really want to rip the silver liner if you can avoid it. Okay, you can't completely avoid it, but you can be careful to do minimal damage. Open it up, and you undo this section. You can rip it to get it open. And yeah, there might be some tobacco in there. Just shake it into a trash can. Open this up, and it will be stuck on this side too. So you just want to be really gentle and pull that apart. And it might stick a little bit more in another spot. So just pull that apart. Go ahead and recycle the paper from the box, and then you have your liner. You can make your angel in gold or in silver. It doesn't really matter. I chose silver. Okay, so I've got that out of there. And You can also use silver wrapping paper as long as the back side is papery like this, so that way it will stick better. I actually came across silver wrapping paper that was really just silver plastic, and that wasn't going to work. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to get started really on your angel wings. And I did this freehand. And basically what I did is I folded my silver paper. I cut it in half and I stacked it on top of each other. And but first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half. And I am going to go get my scissors. Hang on just a second. Okay, my scissors are here. So basically what I did is I go ahead and cut this in half. And since I want to make sure that both sides of the wings are exactly the same, I go ahead and cut this off. And actually this piece will work. So you want to cut another piece about the same size as this. Or you can use this and just fold this in half. But you really want to make sure that you have it this size. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Alright. And you're going to put these shiny sides together. And pay attention to where that little divot is. You want to make sure that that does not get included in your wings. Okay, you might want to put a reference mark. Okay, then what you're going to do is you want to make sure that there's shiny sides together. And at this point you are going to fold this in half. Okay, and the next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw half a wing. And if you notice here, this actually wraps around the bead. So you want to accommodate for the bead itself. And so you're going to have a little bit of a, what's it called? A place here that is a space that you want to actually go around the bead. And your high point of your wings would be right up here. So you want to go ahead and just approximate wings. You don't have to be perfect, just do the best you can. And this bead is 1/4 inch long, so you want to make this section 1/4 inch long, and you want to make it somewhat long so it will go around the bead. I'd say probably no more than probably little under 1/4 inch on this section here, just a little bit under. And then go ahead and go down. And like I said, you don't have to be perfect, just go ahead and make your half angel wing shape. And you can make it the shape whatever you want, whatever you like. Okay, but once you have your pencil drawn, go ahead and cut it out. Alright, it's going to take me just a moment to get this cut out here. And once you get this all cut out, you're going to set this aside and you're going to work on the actual gray or copy paper for your actual beads for your angel. And I'll show you how to do that in a few moments. I just wanted to get these wings out of the way. Okay, so now you have your wings and you have that extra long space in the middle. And you're going to wrap that around your beads. And these wings are just a tiny bit smaller than the ones I already made. But this is for demonstration purposes. You can make them the way you want to. And now we're going to go on to the beads and the skirt and the head. Okay. The head and the body. You're going to take your paper here, and the measurements of the beads or the strips that you want to do is you want to go the full 11 inches length down the side. you're going to make 3 strips that are 1 inch at one end and 1/8 inch at the other end in a right angle shape because you're making a skirt. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I'll show you how to achieve the cone. If it ends up being centered, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so basically what you want is 1 inch at one end, 1/8 inch on the other for 3 of them. Okay, so 1 inch, 1/8 inch, and 1 inch. Okay, at one end. And then the next bead is actually going to be, you're going to do one of them that's 1/4 inch at one end, 1/16 inch at the other. So we're going to go with 1/16 inch. And actually, excuse me, that was 1/4 inch. And then for the body, you're going to do 1/4 inch by 1/8 inch. So since this one's 1/4 inch, I'm going to do 1/8 inch right here. Okay, now I'm going to turn the paper around. And I'm going to work on this side here because I've got my marks down at the opposite end. This first one is going to be marked at 1/8 inch, because that's one of the skirt pieces. The next one is, I'm going to do 1 inch from there. And then the next one is going to be 1/8 inch. Okay, so I've got my 3 pieces for the skirt. Now the next one, I did 1/4 inch, and this one has to be a 1/16. So I'm just going to eyeball it and go halfway to my 1/8 inch. That takes care of the bead for the head. Now the next one I'm going to do is going to be the bead for the body part where the wings are. And this one, I already did the 1/8 inch at the other end, so I'm going to do the 1/4 inch here. And I'm going to go ahead and go cut these. Okay, now I have my pieces cut, and I want to do the skirt first. And so I'm going to go ahead and line these up, and you want to make sure that they kind of look like the right angle cuts. You want to line them up so that they're even. And you're going to do what you did with the Christmas tree. You're going to glue the ends together. And one way of doing that is I'm going to grab my glue and my paint palette. Okay, and this is the way I did it before. I just went ahead and put my glue on the top here. Sent it to the back. Lined up as best I can. Okay, then I'm going to put some more glue here. Okay. Alright, so now that I have those all lined up, I'm going to go ahead and roll it up with my 5/32 paper bead roller. And you can go either way you want. It doesn't really matter, as long as you just go ahead and roll it up. Don't bother gluing it down until you get to the end. And if you don't end up with a cone, I'll show you how to do it so that you do end up with a cone. And that's why you don't glue it until the very end, because you can adjust it when you get there. Alright, bear with me one moment while I go ahead and get this all rolled up. And the same thing that happened before with the tree stand. Actually, we're not there yet. Never mind. Okay, what's going to happen is it could pop up. Each layer will pop up. And let's see. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, see how that popped up? I expected that to happen. And so you just glue it down. And it's going to happen one more time right here. So you're going to go ahead and glue that down. Okay. Alright, so once that's all glued up, what you're going to do is you're going to take it off your bead roller and press it down. And you can press up on the inside a little bit. And if you did what I did and you end up with pencil marks on the outside, you can just go ahead and erase them off. Okay, I can see I made one mistake already. This skirt seems to be fatter. Actually, it doesn't really matter. It still looks pretty good. But if you want it to be fatter, you can actually add one more layer of paper to your cone. And it's totally okay. And that'll make it bigger and fatter. But 3 is actually enough. And you want to push up on the inside a little bit because you're going to need this indentation to sort of cover the head pins that will be at the top, that will be showing at the top of your tree. So go ahead and push that up inside. And if you need a little bit of help with that, just go ahead and use a pencil to push that up a little bit more. Okay, so that bead is done. Okay, the next one is I'm going to do the one that is for the body, and then I'll show you how to put the wings on it. And make sure your pencil line is showing on your side here. You don't really want it to show up on the outside. So just go ahead and roll that up as you normally would a regular old paper bead, making sure to try to center it as you go. You can glue it as you go if you want to. If it seems to be staying centered for you. And I don't glue it all the way. I just glue it in spots. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll this up. And your wings will be wrapped around this. So if you make mistakes, the wings, of course, will hide it. Okay. And a little bit more. And this time I'm just going to go ahead and put the glue on to the end. Okay. Almost there. Okay, so that's it, and you want to go ahead and keep the bead on the bead roller while you apply the wings. Okay, what you're going to do with the wings is you're going to go ahead and put some glue on the center of your wings here, like this. And go ahead and wrap them around. Let it sit there and hang out for a few seconds to let the glue dry a little bit, and then fold these wings back and apply glue to the second half of your wings. Okay, and go ahead and line up your wings. And you don't want to put the glue on the wings themselves, just on the center, so that way you can line it up easily. And turn it over. Adjust it a little bit if you need to. Not always that easy. Okay, while it's still wet, you should be able to reposition it if you have to, like I just did. Okay, at this point, grab a hold of one side of your wings along with the bead and open this up just like that, and spread glue all over the one that's up against your fingers like this. Okay, put the wings down, seal them together. Try to hide that pencil marks as good as you can. Alright, turn it over, do the same thing, open this up, spread the glue on, spread it all out, completely cover the wings. Okay. And that is it for now for your wing beads. You can go ahead and take that off your bead roller and roll up the bead for the head. Okay, which I'll do right now. Again, make sure your pencil marks are facing you, and go ahead and roll it up. Okay, let's try that again. Doesn't always work the first time. Alright, and since this is for the head, you want to try to get this as accurate as possible. And if you seem to be doing very well with the centering and it looks good, go ahead and glue it in place in little spots as you go. That way it'll keep its shape as you go. Alright, doing pretty good so far. Grab another dot of glue. And you can glaze these beads just like you do any of the other types of beads. I actually dip mine using the PC Petrifier and the Vibrance. I also use a product called liquid laminate. I bought a gallon of the liquid laminate a few years ago, and I still have most of it left. So that's what I've been using lately to coat my beads, because I have it and I need to use it. So, but it works just as good as Vibrance in glazing the beads. And it's hard to find now, but it's made by a company called Beacon. If you just do a Google search for liquid laminate, you're going to find all sorts. Well, you'll find a few pictures if you do the Google images, and you might be able to even find a website where you might be able to get it. But I actually called the company and ordered a gallon, and they gave me a gallon tub, not a bottle, but a tub, a bucket. And that's what I use to glaze the last final coat of my beads after the PC Petrifier. So go ahead and string those as you normally would for any other paper beads that you're going to be dipping. And yeah, dipping works, because if you take a look at these wings, these were dipped. And yeah, there's a little bit of a drip in the bottom, but because I didn't shake it off completely. But basically, that's what you need to do for your angel, and that'll fit on the top of your skewer. And in fact, I can demonstrate that, because this one's completely done and it fits. Actually, let's put it on the pointed side. And this skewer seems to be a little bit tight, but it absolutely fits on the one that I'm actually going to be using. So that's actually pretty good. Again, use the 5/32 inch paper bead roller to make your angel portion of the tree.